Greetings. Come worship with me before we get started. Alexis, how you doing, Robin? Alexis, how you doing, woman of God? Blessings, blessings, blessings. I want to welcome you to Deliver Me From Me. I'm Apostle Alecia Biggers, and I want to welcome you. I've taken that granted that you came to be on this broadcast with me. And so today we're going to talk about the beast. Blessings, 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 Stephanie. Blessings. And so we're going to talk about today recognizing the beast. Recognizing the beast. For my church, for the month of February, we're going to talk about breaking the love affair with the beast. People may say, what are you talking about, the beast? We're going to break that down, and we're going to talk about the beast that's within us, because a lot of times people don't recognize that there's a beast within them. And so this is what we're going to talk about. And the reason why I did it in February, because if you look at it all throughout the month of February, people talking about love and people talking about Valentine's Day. Blessings, prophet. And so I found out during Valentine's Day, you see a lot of people being fake. People want to be in love. People want to act like they love people, because sometimes people sometimes people get in relationship, they want to try to get sex out of people, want to get money out of people. And a lot of times it's all about what they can get for themselves, not genuinely because it's about love. It's about appeasing that flesh. It's about appeasing what you want. And so we're going to dig in dealing with that beast nature, because a lot of times people may say, I'm not a beast. A lot of times we can't even get it twisted. We may look cute, we may look pretty, or he may look handsome, but behind the scenes, there's a monster. Behind the scenes of that pretty face, there's a monster. And if we really be honest with ourselves, because if we're talking about the beast is the real ugly you. It's the part of you that you don't want anybody to know anything about. It's the part of you that you hide, that we put makeup, we put our weave, we put our nice clothes on, but when somebody pushed the wrong button, that's when that beast come out. But I want to begin to share with you the reason that this beast is coming out, because guess what? When you got a lot of unresolved issues, when you don't have any closure, when you can't move forward, when you've been hurt, when you've been wounded, when a lot of things have went on in your life, you got to understand the enemy loves to control a person that have been wounded. Blessings to you, Apostle. And so a lot of times people don't understand that. That's why I'm always preaching about inner healing and deliverance, because if you don't deal with that beast nature on the inside of you, can I tell you, you're going to be the first one that the devil going to use. And a lot of times we thinking that the devil ain't going to use us, but we got to know the laws of the kingdom. The Bible is a book of laws. And so you got to understand, when the Bible is talking about a beast, when it's talking about a monster, when it's talking about Leviathan, you got to understand, when it's talking about animals, it's talking about the spirit of that animal. So when we're talking about a beast, we're not talking about you talking about a literal beast. We're talking about the nature of a beast. And so you will begin to have on those characteristics of a beast. So I want to begin to lay a foundation to tell you, how does this happen? Because a lot of times we have come from dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional homes, our culture. We have seen so many hardships and trials in that your eye gate. The Bible talk about what you put in your eye gate. You got to remember, that's what's going to control your life. So a lot of times we have seen hurt. We've seen pain. We've seen manipulation. We've seen deception. We've seen woundedness. We've seen a lot of hurt and pain. But can I tell you that your brain, it remembers that stuff. This is why a lot of times it's hard for us to move forward, because we're so focused on what people did to us, how people hurt us. Even you can be wounded by what you saw your parents went through. You can be wounded by what you saw whoever raised you go through. And so even as a child, your brain takes a picture of that image and you remember that image. And when something reminds you of that, what happens is you begin to manifest that thing. And so this is why we're talking about the beast, because a lot of times we have not gotten healed of our wounds. We have not gotten healed. You may say, what you talking about heal? I always remind us we got 3 parts. We got a soul, we got a spirit, and we got a body. Your body is the only part that you can see with the natural eye. But you got to understand that you can see your soul. You can't see your soul, but you can see you can't see your soul, and you can't see your spirit, man. And so you got to begin to understand that that's the invisible part of you. That's the real you, your soul. So when you've been betrayed, you've been lied on, you've been treated some kind of way, that's the part of you that's been wounded. And so when you have been wounded, guess what that does? It breaks you off. So if you've been wounded by your mama, wounded by your brother, wounded by your sister, wounded by your lover, wounded by a friend, part of you have been broken off with all those people. And then a lot of times we struggle with being whole because part of you is broken off with every relationship that hurt you. And so a lot of times we don't realize that we're broken, because every time you encounter something with somebody, can I tell you, they broke off a piece of you. So if somebody break off a piece of me at work, they break off a piece of me at church, you know what, eventually I'm just going to be a wounded person. And sometimes throughout our life, when we don't get healed, what do I mean get healed? When we don't have anybody to pray with us, when we don't have anybody to talk us through what happened to us and to pray for God to heal us, it leaves us wounded and it leaves us fragmented. And can I be honest? There's a lot of people on this world, they are wounded, they're fragmented, and guess what? When you're wounded and fragmented, it has you looking at things through a tainted perception. You can be looking at something that's good, but just because you broken, you will begin to look at it in a negative way. And this is why I'm always preaching to people, saying we gotta deal with us, because can I tell you, this thing is about this beast. I want to give you a definition of the beast. When I looked at, even in Webster Dictionary, it said it's an animal that behaves in a cruel way. It's a savage. And it says here, it began to say people nowadays, they begin to call themselves a beast when you can do something real good, but they don't understand what they're speaking into their life. It says here that when people are beasts, that they are uncivilized, when they are corrupt, they tear up things, they lack sensitivity. You ever seen somebody who can hurt you, they can cuss you out and you crying, and it don't even faze them. You got to begin to understand that because they've been so broken that they become numb to pain, that even when you going through, you stop crying, you say, I don't even feel nothing, I just feel numb. That's an indication you are awakening that beast nature. And so when I'm talking about a beast, I'm talking about figuratively speaking, not that you're going to look like a beast, but you're going to carry the characteristics of a beast, that you're going to be wild and you're going to be hard in the heart. That is where you don't even care no more, where you begin to think about yourself. It's all about you. And that if nobody ain't trying to help you, guess what? You ain't thinking about them, because when you look at a beast is going to devour, it's going to destroy. And can I tell you that I can relate, because there have been times where I have been so wounded and hurt, I would just tear up stuff, just breaking stuff in the house, throwing down stuff, releasing all kind of curse words out of my mouth, speaking, calling people all kind of names, because I felt so, that's right, girls gone wild. But this right here, this thing, but it'll come to anybody. It's where you don't have no filter and you don't care about anybody else's feelings. But see, and this is why I'm saying, because see, it seems mild until everything is good. But when a person can't get their way, that they begin to see that thing manifest. And can I tell you, a beast, it has severe anger, a frustration, and disappointed, because they've been wounded by all the things that they all went through in their life. And so when somebody makes them mad, they gonna feel the beast be released from all of those situations. They gonna let you have it. It's not good enough that they just gonna come after you for that one thing, but they gonna try to make you suffer for everything. And this is why God said that we gotta begin to deal with this beast, but we got to be honest with ourselves, because see, we've been so hurt, we've been so wounded, and we say, I never let nobody hurt me, I never let nobody do me like that, because I'm gonna show them. It's where you begin to be cold-hearted, that somebody who hurt you and they ask you, can you help them, would you help with would you help them and you won't even accept it? You looking at them and you don't feel nothing. You don't feel any kind of conviction. It's where you can go to church. It's where you know when you hear the word, but the word go over your head because vengeance is on your mind. Only thing you thinking about is that you gonna get them back, but how they treated you, what they did to you, is where you want to gratify yourself because you've been wounded and you say, I gotta take care of me because I'm not gonna let anybody else hurt me. And it's where it's a spirit of pride where you put yourself above everybody else, not in a good way, but in a negative way, that you don't care. You a cutthroat. You a lie on the job. You a lie on somebody to manipulate somebody to get what you want. See, that's what this beast does. This beast don't care. This beast will look you in your face. And this beast will lie to you. You'll be that spirit will have you lying. And if somebody asks you, you know what, can I help you? What can I pray with you? You'll look them in the face and say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with me. When you know something wrong with you, it's where you won't even be able to sleep at night. You can't rest. You don't want to read the Bible. You don't want to pray. You don't want to have nothing to do with God. But it's all a facade. But you'll get up on a Sunday morning and you'll go to church. You'll get up and go to Bible study, and you'll be thinking about what you gonna do, how you gonna cook, what you gonna iron your clothes. It's where you not even allowing the word of God to deal with you because you don't recognize that the spirit of the beast, that Satan is controlling you. We got to begin to understand that God began to tell us that when you begin to find yourself so connected with the things of the world, when you always focusing on your hurt, you always focus on your pain, and you talking about what other people did, but you forgot how you hurt other people. You forgot how you was low down to other people. But just because somebody did you wrong, now you want to try to destroy people's life where you forgot about what God did for you. And see, this is because you never got healed and you got numb and you got angry. And so you made it your business that you're going to plot and plan. You're going to devise. You begin to become evil. And God began to say, we got to deal with this because like I said, around Valentine's Day, you know you ain't talked to that woman or you ain't talked to that man, but you say, I'm going to get some money out of him. Oh, I'm going to break him. Oh, I'm going to show him. So when you find yourself, when you get ready to plot and plan and do folks any kind of way, then when you begin to say, I'm going to act like I love him for the holiday because I'm going to get a gift. I'm going to get some money out of him. You say, I'm going to act like, you know what, I love her. I'm going to tell she beautiful. I'm going to tell she pretty because I'm going to get in them draws. Come on here. We got to begin to deal with that beast nature because our culture have gotten so comfortable with the beast that we call ourselves beasts and we think that it's okay. We think that it's okay to use people for their body. We think it's okay to use people for their money. We think it's okay for us to hurt people. And we think because I'm hurt, I'm going to hurt you back. And we got to understand that God said, this is not of me. That this has come an assignment straight from hell. You got to understand that hell have orchestrated this. That's why when you go to church, you feel like, oh, hey, you know what? Ain't nothing happened. Oh, it was all right. Because you never open up your heart to let the spirit of the living God in. And then this is where God said, you got to understand when you are selfish, you got to understand you are wakening up that beast. When you find yourself, when you abused and you unteachable, nobody can't tell you wrong. Nobody can't tell you that you need help. Can I tell you this person, when that beast nature is within you, you going to break every law. You are lawless. You're breaking all the spiritual laws. You don't have no morals. You only thing you see is what you want. You don't see anything else from anybody else. The only thing that you see is what you want. And can I tell you, the person is sensual. It's all about your feelings. Well, I feel you shouldn't have did me like this. I feel you shouldn't have said that about me. It's where you don't care. It's all about you. It's all about appeasing your flesh. It ain't got nothing to do with the spirit, man. It's where your flesh is running rapid. Where your flesh, where you ain't no good. You a user. You an abuser. I told you this spirit of the beast, it will make you a savage. It's because you don't have no empathy. You don't have no kind of consideration for nobody else. It's where you are a hard person. And God said you got to recognize the beast within you. Because when people make you mad, that's when you begin to let people see the ugly side of you. People begin to say, oh no, that's my evil twin. No, that ain't the evil twin. That's that beast nature. And God, you got to understand, when you allow that beast nature to operate in you, what you're doing is you're bounding yourself with hell. You're telling the devil, I'm going to make myself an agent for you. And this is why we got to begin to understand the stuff that we're doing, that God is not pleased. We thinking because ain't nobody said nothing. But see, you got to understand God gave us moral conviction. It's where the Holy Spirit begin to tell you, you know that you lying. You know that you manipulate somebody. You know that you cheating. You got 5 women over here, 10 women over here, and you telling your wife you the only one. You are a beast. And then the sad thing is, you got some people, you want that woman to be faithful to you when you know you got 10 women over here on the flip side. Come on, women. You know that your husband, you want him to do all this for you, but you cheating on him with 5 men on the side. You got to understand you are a beast. And then you'll get in his face and I love you, baby. Oh, you my sweet thing. You my everything. No, you are a monster. You are a monster. See, on the outside, you look like you pretty. Can I tell you, people that operate in this beast, it's a darkness around them. They got like a darkness over them. They don't even have no glow of life. Some of them have like a tinge. And can I tell you, when you be honest with our family members, some of our family members have taught us how to be a beast because they was a beast. So if you seen daddy was a hell raiser and you know how to raise, you seen daddy whoop up on mama and other people, guess what? You get it from it. So that's why you'll begin to duplicate those same things in your life. And seeing God say, you got to understand this beast nature, it's passed down like a generational curse. It's passed down. So if you find somebody that's stealing in the family, you'll be sitting up there talking to somebody and they'll stole your wallet in front of you and you don't even recognize it. And they'll look at you blessing a woman of God. They'll look at you and act like ain't nothing happening. It's because they are cold. They're cold-hearted. And this is where you got to begin to understand. This is why you got to get in the word. This is why you got to get in a Bible-based church that's going to tell you the truth about you. Because a lot of times we so used to being around people, we talking about, 5 steps how to get your money, 5 steps how to be kind, 5 steps how to get your blessing. All of that is well and done, but it does no good when you are a beast, when you are an animal, when you are a user, when you are an abuser, when you destroying people's life, you destroying your children's life because you calling them heifers and bees, calling them dumb, not understanding you are a beast and you trying to make them hard where they will be the same way to their children. And you wonder why children grow up, opening up their mouth and they say, oh, they so rude, they so nasty. Who do they get it from? They get it from the person who raised them. They got it from the person who they grew up with. And so this is why you got to understand when we see our children, when they're watching a lot of this television, and you see guys calling women out their name and we thinking it's in the movie. You can't allow your son to watch all of that stuff. You know why? Because there's an image being put in his mind so that he gonna grow up and when a woman make him mad, guess what? He gonna begin to speak what he seen them speak on TV. He gonna be able to speak what he saw what he heard daddy calling you in the household. And God said that you got to be honest with yourself. We all got a beast on the inside of you. Just like when somebody make you mad and you go above and beyond, you turning your head, I ought to spit in their food. I ought to flat their tie. That's a beast. When you know what, I ought to go tell their wife. You know what you were doing just because now the person said they don't want to be with you now. So then now you want to go and try to mess up and destroy. See, this is a sabotaging spirit. It's where you just want to destroy other people's lives because your life is messed up. And it's because you never got any healing on your own. It's because you broken. And see, this is why I say you got to go to a church that's teaching the truth, that's teaching about inner healing and deliverance. Because if you don't, you're going to think that it's okay. Because can I tell you, some of these churches ain't dealing with our issues. Some of these churches ain't telling us that we wrong. That some of these churches ain't telling us that we sitting up here stealing from the job, you're stealing from the bank. We doing all kind of crazy stuff, talking about God blessing me. No, you are a liar. That God ain't got nothing to do with that. You sitting up there doing this stuff on your own with your lying self. You are a beast. You know that you stole that money from somebody, talking about God bless you. God ain't from to bless you when you stole it from somebody. God ain't got nothing to do with it. He said when we are wounded, we're wounded and we're damaged. We have been fragmented. Different pieces have been broken off of us. Proverbs 26:2 say a curse can't come without a cause. So if somebody misuse me or rape me, and I never got any healing. That situation, it will open the door in my soul to make me angry, to make me depressed, to make me hopelessness. And when them demons would come in, it would change my whole outlook on how I saw life. And so now I will begin to start mistreating people and treating people some kind of way. See, we talking about, because see, a lot of young boys, they got molested at a young age, and we try to come down on people because they homosexual. But you got to begin to understand, a lot of homosexuals at childhood, little boys, they got molested by men. And you got to understand what the devil would do. He would come in and put it in their eye gate, because they bodies, what's the word I want to use? Their body begin to, it seems like it feels good to their body because it's a normal reaction. And the devil is a liar and he's a deceiver. So what he would do, he would tell that young man, just because he got aroused, or just because it felt good, that thought and that spirit would tell him now he's a homosexual. It would tell that woman, because she got aroused when she was raped by another woman, that demon would tell her now that she's a lesbian, not because that person felt that way, but they think because it feels good. Now understanding that's a normal response. But see, we got to begin to start teaching this thing, because see, you got people being a beast because you have not tapped into the spirit. We have not got into the spirit realm. We just telling them that it's wrong, but you have no idea. You got to take them through inner healing where they understand that it's a normal reaction. If somebody touch you as a little kid, your body is going to respond, and it don't mean you like that. But for the simple fact is, it's going to hurt it was that devil, because he's a liar and he's a manipulator, and he want to tear up our lives. He wants to destroy us, and he will have that young person growing up thinking that they one way when they really not like that, but they like that because they was violated as a child. And so you got to understand, and so and what this spirit does when you are broken, it keeps you stuck. So even though I may be 43, but if this happened to me while I was 10, even though I'm 43 years old, but my soul is still stuck at a 10-year-old girl, because that's where I got raped at. That's where I got abused at. So I'm still in a 10-year-old state in some areas in my life. So you can't get it twisted because you look older and it look like life goes on. No, because if that person don't get any counseling, that person don't get any inner healing and deliverance, even though they 43 years old, they still going to be stuck as a 10-year-old in a mindset. Because that's the area where they've been wounded at. That's the area where they've been broken at. Then they get in other relationships because they're broken. Now you're going to attract other broken people. And so when somebody raped you, then you get with somebody who you think like you. Then they rape you. They begin to lie and manipulate you. Then more demons come in. And so what it does is it changes the way that you see life. You begin to don't care anymore. Some people begin to be promiscuous. A lot of times when whatever happened to people, they will either become the victim or they will begin to do what was done to them. And so therefore, how some people was raped, sometimes the raper will turn around. The raper will have been raped. That's why the raper rapes. Not all the way the case. But we got to begin to understand and deal with ourselves. So we got to understand. So when you see people like this and you say, you know what, they so evil, but you got to begin to understand what has happened to them. Somewhere in their life, they were hurt. Somewhere in their life, they was wounded. And so they grew up with that wound. They grew up. And so guess what the devil is going to do? He's going to distort their thinking. He's going to distort their thought patterns, and that they're going to begin to now look at life in a total different way. They're going to begin to look at things where they don't even care anymore. They're going to begin to get at places where, you know what, they'll let people use them. And so we got a lot of people respond to stuff differently. You may say, oh, I never let nobody, or I will bounce back. You don't know until something happens to you. You don't know how you're going to respond. And so a lot of times, this is why I got a passion for people with inner healing and deliverance, because you don't know why that person is the way that they are. So that's why I always tell people, you need to listen when people are telling you something is wrong with you. You're acting different. You're not acting the same. You got to understand, those are the signs, because a lot of times people are so wounded, sometimes they can't hurt them. They can't help themselves. Can I tell you, there have been times I've been so wounded, I could not help myself. And I was happy for somebody to ask me what was wrong with me. I was happy for somebody to be able to say, you know what, they begin to start ministering to me to help pull me out the hole. And see, a lot of times, blessings, Apostle, we see people hurt and we don't even look at them to help them. And so you got to understand that that's a beast nature, because the Bible said, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? Blessings, Apostle. So you got to begin to understand we need each other. So when you're around somebody, you can tell when they hurt, you can tell when they wounded. And so don't you walk by them and not say nothing. Don't you look at even these little kids. Some of them have been raped in school, been molested in school. Somebody was telling me, a social worker say in school, that they're playing these games, telling the little girls, every little girl to wear lipstick. And say the boys are having the little girls to have oral sex with them. You got to begin to understand the enemy is trying to turn even little kids out while we up here acting like we ain't got nothing to pray about, acting like we ain't got nothing to deal with. Because guess what? That enemy is trying to already put them in them children's mind how to be promiscuous, how to be a prostitute, how to be a harlot. But it's so easy for us to call them a harlot. But you seen them in them behaviors and you didn't say nothing. You seen them wearing them hot pants and you never pulled them to the side to say, what's going on? You seen the boy masturbate and you never talked to him to ask him what's going on with you. See, this is why we got to begin to deal with this beast nature, because see, this beast is an animal, and what it happens is when you don't deal with the beast, guess what? This spirit grow up with you. It grow up with the child. It makes the child mean. It makes the child unruly. It makes the child a savage. You wonder why the child going to school beating up everybody, because the child was raped by somebody in the family and nobody said nothing. The child felt like he couldn't talk to nobody because nobody would believe him. And so they wonder why this child fighting everybody, because the child angry because the people who were supposed to protect wasn't there to protect him. Then you wonder why in the world these children are so mean, why they so angry, because they feel like they're losing the battle. People don't care about me. People don't love me. And see, the simple fact is, because mama, sometimes some parents are working 2 or 3 jobs, don't have enough time to watch. But when you got a job, you the nurse or you the teacher or you the next door neighbor, you can look out and God begin to show you that these kids are hurting or this woman is hurting, that you see that they doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing. But it's so easy for us to talk about them. It's so easy for us to put them down. But you won't tell them, let's talk about it. What's going on with you? Because I see that you not yourself. I see that you normally didn't act like this. You used to have a smile on your face, but now you're frowned up. Now you unhappy. See, that's an indication right there that person will begin to see, now somebody sees me. Now somebody see me. Because can I tell you, when a person lack human sensibility, you look at even in our government, we're talking about voting for people. You got some people don't have no time. I was watching something on Facebook and the young lady would begin to say, she said, I'm not studying the Bible. She said, I'm so tired of y'all Christians talking about what's in the Bible, what's this, what's that. She said, I hate you all. And she just began to go off. And God began to say, that's an indication of the beast. This beast nature, it feels like it can tell you whatever. And I said, Lord, have mercy